Hi everyone and welcome. My name's Lainie. This is Big Girls Really Do Cry, and it's photos of the week again already. It just flies by so quickly. So we'll get straight in it, and you'll hear me voice over everything you see. Well, here we are again. As you can see, these are bees. No prizes for that one, is there? I love taking pictures of the bees. I just find them so relaxing, I think, even though they really always like hyper busy. I find it really relaxing to watch them crack on with their day, I suppose. These pictures aren't maybe quite as good as the ones from, was it last week? Although I do really like this one. It didn't fly, it was just sort of reaching up to the next flower. These are different types of bees. I think the first two pictures were bumblebees. Not really sure what type this is, whether it's a honeybee or a worker bee. I actually don't have a clue, and there it is, just flying off. Moving on to this flower, no clue what it is, so if anyone does, please let me know. But I just thought it was very pretty, and a lovely colour pink against the grey marble effect wall. Thought it looked really nice. These are a couple of young male mallards. So these were in Mowbray Park. We were both just sitting sharing this rock, so I thought I would take a picture. As you can see, the one furthest away has a lot of green coming through already on his face. The one nearest to us hasn't got any green yet that I can see by eye without zooming. And there's also some new babies in the park. They were quite in the middle of the pond, so I didn't get any close-ups of them, unfortunately. But there was 3 little new lives in the park, and I'm really hoping that they survive. Every time I've come back to Mowbray, I haven't really seen the full amount of babies that were there the last time, so fingers crossed that these little ones do manage to survive and we have new young in the park. Anyway, moving on, these are 2 of the baby ones from Roker Park. They practically look fully grown now. You can see on the nearest one there's still a lot of fluff on his back there, and the one in the distance who was stretching the wing, you can tell by his wing he hasn't gotten all of his feathers yet, and so they'll still have to wait for that. And this little one was just snuggled up in the water, so I took a picture of him too. This is a tufted duck. If you remember, I took some pictures of him last week. He's the only one I could find left, that is. And this just seemed like a tiny seagull. Like, it's a young seagull, definitely a juvenile seagull, but it just seems so tiny and cute. So I took a photo. And he's just lovely, isn't he? Was it just me? Moving on, this is a moorhen baby and its parent in the background there. It was making quite a bit of a racket. I think it got a bit wrong, got told off because it had been right near the edge of the water in the open, and its mum or parent, because I can't tell moorhens apart, male or female, and they both look after their young. So yeah, he or she chased it up into the foliage to protect it, I guess. But yeah, they were probably squawking at each other, and he was getting nudged in the bum, shall we say. This was in Mowbray, not as great as the squirrel pictures I got last week, I think, but still lovely nonetheless. He was running down a tree from one tree to another, and I managed to get this photograph and the one coming up when he was sort of like checking out what was going on, and making sure he was in the clear to get wherever he wanted to go. I'm guessing it's a he. I'm not really sure actually, because I know it's hard to tell. Okay, so moving on. I have never photographed one of these. This is a black cap. It's actually a female black cap, and the reason it's a female is because of its colours. So a male black cap would have a dark black cap literally on the top of its head, rather than this sort of reddish brown, and it's also more grey, where this one is like a bit sort of yellowy. It's a bit of everything, a bit olive, I think it's described in the books, but yeah, still lovely little thing, so sweet. So moving on, this is a blackbird. It's a juvenile blackbird, so just a young one. I just love the fact I caught it through these. I don't know what kind of like berry things these are, but like they look a bit, I mean obviously they're like purpley coloured, but I'm not really sure like what type of berries they are. But anyway, I got quite a few. I mean they were loving these berries. Absolutely love this picture, the one that's shown now. I just think that sort of reddish brown colour as they're changing into what they will be, which will either be the male or female. I'm not sure at this stage, and I don't think you can tell yet. But the few pictures I got of them, there was quite a few, and they were all dotted about, like obviously probably a family of them, in different stages and at different angles and at different pictures. You can even see the hairs on his like sort of chin neck part, and I mean they've got there, you can see the distinctive sort of blackbird tail feathers there, and I'm not really sure, you know, if they go from sort of brown to black, if you know what I mean. I was a bit undecided as to whether this might have been a song thrush rather than a blackbird. However, they're all part of the same family, to be honest. They're all, I mean, blackbirds are thrushes as well, really. So, you know, pretty close. And I think it's probably likely that it's also a blackbird. It's just lighter chested than the others. But as you can see, there's a lot of changes going on within its feathers. So, but yeah, I was really, really pleased with these pictures. There was just quite a few of them all, and that one there is quite a lot darker than some of the others. But I suppose they're all in different stages of changing, as is he or she. We don't know. But yeah, I was really pleased with these, and just managing to get some really nice pictures, I thought, including the lights on the tree that's in the park. Yeah, and also I got this juvenile blue tit as well. So this is a young blue tit. You can tell by its kind of distressed look. It's just still got a lot of young sort of fluff, I suppose. But yeah, I managed to get this, and it was munching away on all the little bugs that were on this tree. Okay, moving on again. You've met this fella before. This is Vladimir, or Vlad. He is a Russian steppe eagle. He is beautiful. I saw him again in the town. The council have put on some sort of display thing where the falconry place have been there, and they are showing off the birds and flying them, and you know, speaking about them, etc., etc., to the children because they're off school, and they're doing that for a couple of times a week over the summer holidays. So I will be going back again. This picture, he was doing some sort of weird like yoga. This must be like the backward eagle or something. It's amazing which way he was getting his body into which shapes he was doing. In this one he was actually yawning. I think he was bored of us. I just sort of caught him mid-yawn. But yeah, it looks like he's quite mad. It looks like he's going to me, but actually he was yawning. But yeah. And in the last picture, he's just standing there all, you know, proud looking, cool. I found out that he only weighs about £7, but he looks like, I don't know why, but he just looks huge and like majestic. But apparently their bones in all birds of prey are like sort of honeycomb, like crunchy, so they're very hollow, which makes them very light, which is understandable because they need to fly. Anyway, moving on. This is a young Harris hawk. He is 12 weeks old. He is not named yet, as Northeast Falconry have just gotten him, and he was amazingly calm, and you know, like he was just taking it all in, and it wasn't a bother. This is a close-up of him. And he is absolutely beautiful, and like I said, it was just not a bother. He was just so calm and collected, but he does need a name, and all of the Harris hawks that they have begin with the letter H, so I've no doubt he will have a H name soon. Now this is Hermes. You've met Hermes before, like not in the photos of the week I don't think, but in other videos and things I've done he has come up. He is absolutely beautiful. In the coming up picture he has got food, so just to pre-warn in case anyone doesn't want to see that, because he's got chick's feet hanging out of his mouth, or chick's foot. He is pulling his wings around like that because that's what they do in the wild. They would pull their wings around to hide the food that they've got, and obviously you know, for any predators that may be around and want to nick what he's just getting. So you've also met this little fella before. This is Captain. Captain is an American kestrel. He is absolutely beautiful, and he looks really mad, but even though he looks really mad, he's super cute. He just had a little bit of a bath in some water. He was very mouthy the whole time, wanting and demanding food. He's only 6 weeks now, and he obviously sees his handler as his dad essentially, and so he was just constantly saying feed me, you know, and mouthing off. But he's just, you can't help but just love him. He's just so lovely. And again, I said this before, but them sort of markings make them look a little bit like hearts on his body there. This next picture, they were practicing his flying, so he was flying a tiny bit, just sort of about 2 foot between, on a sort of lead, to just in case, obviously, and he was doing it for food because obviously he's food orientated, I guess, like a lot of animals. And yeah, I caught this picture, which I was really chuffed with, just as he was about to munch down on a little bit of chicken there. But yeah, he was lovely, and obviously as their wings growing, he needs to learn to do more and more flying, which is what he's been getting practiced. Now, as you can see, he's got a bit of food there, and he's doing what the hawk did, which is bring his wings round. You'll see in the next picture that he does that a lot better in that one, to hide his food, because obviously they don't want anyone else to get it, as he is there, so you can see it a little bit less, and that's what he's doing. So yeah, he was very mouthy, and he was a little bit food aggressive, I guess is the word. But yeah, he'll get there. He's only a baby still, just 6 weeks, so yeah, he's getting there. Moving on, this is Marty. Marty is a speckled owl, and you've met him before as well in other videos, and I seem to only have this picture of him today. He didn't want to fly, he didn't really want to do anything but go to sleep, so they let him be. Now, this is someone you haven't met before, and it's also someone I hadn't met before. This is Sabina. Sabina is a Indian eagle owl. She is absolutely stunning. As you can see, she's got orange eyes. Now, an orange-eyed owl means that they hunt at dusk and dawn. A yellow-eyed owl, in which you saw prior, which was Marty, that means that they hunt through the day. And any owls that have dark eyes, brown eyes, black eyes, sort of thing, then they hunt at night and are nocturnal. So yeah, she's absolutely beautiful. And as I said, she's an Indian eagle owl, so she comes from India. She is her feet and everything. She was pretty strong, and her wings and everything. She's just amazing. I don't know what she'd spotted there, but she wasn't happy about it, that's for sure. But yeah, she's absolutely beautiful. And he said to me that she is so quiet you would not know she was there. When they fly, all owls are really, really quiet, and I guess they have to be, because obviously to catch something they need to be quiet. But she said apparently she is the quietest of them all, and it would even fool other owls, you know what I mean. She's so quiet, her breed. Moving on to these next few photos. This is her being fed some chicken, and I have to say that if Jason Momoa was feeding me cake, these next few images would be my face as well. To be fair, if Jason Momoa was feeding me raw chicken, I'd probably have the same face. But yeah, she looked very happy, shall we say. I mean, look at that. She's just, yeah, that would have been me definitely in cake with Jason Momoa. But yeah, she was very happy with that bit of chicken. But yeah, she's absolutely stunning, and they flew her on a line as well, because they flew Hermes, the Harris Hawk, free flying type of thing. But they flew her on a line here because she'd never flown here before, and obviously, you know, makes sense, I suppose. But yeah, someone said to him, are they happy? And his response was, well, because obviously they are captive bred, and he said, well, they've never left, so once they are able, and I'll do free fly, you know what I mean, and once that happens they always come back. So I guess that can be your only answer, really. And they will all live a lot longer captively than they would have in the wild, and especially the little kestrel, who would have probably only lasted till he was 18 months, 2 years. So yeah, and also Marty, the speckled owl, is endangered, and so he's hoping to get a breeding program in place for him, which would be really cool. This is where she opened her wings. She does the same thing as Vlad does, which is opens her wings if you say please. So please open your wings. And on a reflection in this picture, you could see me. Well, you can't see it on here, but you could if you zoom in. This is Margie, my neighbour's cat. She was very interested in a squirrel that had run up a tree just outside of where I live, and so she was sat there quite focused on looking up at it. Unfortunately, our brother wasn't as well behaved, just sitting watching. Not that it was the squirrel that he got, but this is a wren, an adult wren. I'm not sure whether it's male or female because you can't really tell them apart as far as I know. It was hanging about because it had babies who were flying around, and well, actually they were both parents were there, both male and female, I assume. Couldn't tell which was which though, unfortunately. I will show you some of the photos of the babies in a bit, but These are the tiniest little birds with the biggest mouth. That honestly, you would think they'd have lungs of an elephant. You know, the way they can, like, it must be like 20 times what you'd expect from them. Do you know what I mean? Like, so amazing how they can do that. They have an absolutely beautiful song as well. But they also quite like to mouth as well. So, so yeah, they were out sort of flying lessons with babies, and this is one of the babies. I named him Rennie. Don't know if it was a he or a she, but Rennie works for both, wasn't it? Unfortunately, Rennie didn't survive. Sadly, the neighbour's cat, not the one pictured, but her brother wasn't as nice, shall we say. I know, totally just doing what nature is and all that. I have put a bit more information about this in another video that's to come out tomorrow, just like a chatty video thing, and it's also got a little bit of footage in, although you can't see anything, you can just hear me. So yeah, I've put that together, but I just wanted to share these little photos. There was at least 3 babies that I saw, and I know I saw they were flying in all directions, sticking on walls as this one is here, but obviously, yeah, they were trying to get their practicing and learning to fly, I guess, and the only way you can do it is to do it, I suppose, and that's, I guess, what happens with these. They get to whatever age they are. I don't think it's very old, or it doesn't take very long for wrens because they're not very big, but yeah, it was sad, but they are. So this is a cabbage white butterfly. There's absolutely loads of these about, and there was loads when I was out and about in the park. Obviously they're distinctively white. You see them fluttering about, and they look quite big, I think, when they're flying about, and then when they stop and they're just sitting on, you know, on a leaf or something, they don't look so big. I mean, I'm not talking like, you know, mega huge, obviously, but yeah, I believe they're all like white with either brown or black like trim and spots, and that's how you know it's a cabbage white, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not massively clued up on butterflies. I have learnt a few doing this basically, and I wasn't a massive fan of butterflies. I like them from a distance, but they kind of reminded me of moths, and I was a bit freaked out by moths, but I'm much better with insects than I used to be. This one was looking a bit worse for wear. All the edges of it seems to have been like it's like it got singed or something, so I don't know what happened there. It seems to have like been, you know, injured in some way, and this one had a little bit missing, not as bad as the previous one, and then I managed to get it with its wings up so I could see the underside, and didn't realise it was more of a like sort of creamy colour underneath, and then for some reason a fly came and just sat down beside it, this little green fly, so I managed to get this shot too, and yeah, it was a day for butterflies. And then there was about 3 of them all at once, 3 of these cabbage whites, and I managed to get one photo of them. They were quite far up in the sky, but I was chuffed that I got all of them in, so hence I've included it in here, even though it just looks like a little smudge really, to be fair. But yeah, so moving on, again still on with the butterfly. This one obviously has its wings folded up. I like the way that it had picked this one leaf out and blurred out the back, so it looks like, you know, it sort of jolted forward a little bit. This butterfly is a speckled wood butterfly. Also, like the cabbage white, it shared its perch with a fly. Not sure what kind of fly that is. I think the other one was like a green fly or a green bottle or whatever. That one, I'm not sure. It doesn't seem to have any colour from here. But yeah, here it is opened up. It's absolutely beautiful. But again, speckled wood, and it looks a little bit sort of, I mean, you can literally see the hairs on it right in the centre, and it just sort of looks orangey green and stuff, like where they are. So pretty. And you know, I never really paid attention before, like, at how pretty some of these butterflies are. You know, you don't, I guess you just don't. But yeah, it was just perched on there. It looks like it was posing, you know, for a nude, you know, the way it was like sort of just perched there. And maybe that's just me. Anyway, moving on. This is a cormorant. I went down to the river one day last week, can't remember which one, and spotted this fella in the water, quite far in. Tried my best. Not too unhappy with some of the pictures that I got. However, he was fishing, because we get a lot of mackerel and then we get a lot of herring, and I think the herring are in at the moment, and he was fishing, and I was trying my best to catch him swallowing the fish, because that's what he was doing, apart from, unfortunately, I wasn't doing a very good job of it. And yeah, I just think these look really mean and moody type of thing. They're like, oh, you're looking at, you know, you could just see them, like, you know, you wouldn't want to mess type of thing. And then he's just come out of the water, and I don't even think he managed to catch a fish in this instance. So it's probably the only time I was prepared enough to catch it. But yeah, again, I just got a few of him looking all different directions, and then he started to flap his wings, as you can see here, and he did fly off. I did get a couple of pictures of him flying. The flight pictures aren't as great, you know, with the distance, and also like it just tends to blur, as you can see, blurred the edges. But I did get the water splashes, which is quite cool. Still, you know, it wasn't too bad, but I wanted to include it just to show. And then the next one shows that he was totally clear of the water, and gliding along. His tail feathers don't look too good, looking at them there, but maybe that's what they're meant to be. Anyway, you've already seen this one, but like, before I even speak is what I meant to say there. But this is a seal, obviously. He was a huge seal that was in the river, and I went up and down the side of the river trying to catch him, and every time I got my camera out, he went back under the water. And then finally, just about as I wasn't far from leaving, he showed his face again, and I was like, yes, and I managed to get it. I've seen him before. Not the last time I did, it wasn't as clear, although I'm not sure if it's the same one, because the ear, the bullet hole is missing, like on the other ones. He's got these little sort of nipply bits at the sides. I'm sure that's not where his nipples are, or her, I don't know. But yeah, again, quite far out. Looked like he was just loving the sun with his eyes closed there. And you know, I'm still saying him, but it could be her, and I don't really know, and I don't know how you tell them apart, because I'm not really that clued up as yet. But yes, his head looked like, you know, pretty big, let's put it that way. And just, and the last picture I got, as you'll see here, which is slightly blurred, is just as his nose was disappearing back under the water. And I think I showed a couple of people this, and they said, oh, it looks like a hippopotamus, but it is not a hippopotamus, it is a seal, and he's obviously here for the heron and the mackerel before that as well. Okay, so moving on to this ship or boat or whatever. This is called the Sedurka. You'll see I took a screenshot of it close up of the name. That's my guess is how you pronounce it, is the Sedurka. It's a bulk carrier ship from Belize, and it's 51 years old. I googled all this because you know, I wouldn't really have known anyway, but it was built 51 years ago, and yeah, it's basically a cargo ship, and that's how it's spelt. Sedika, I don't know, whatever you would pronounce it as. And then there was also this cargo ship. This one is from Malta, and it's 12 years old. Now this is called the Akeomina, or the Akeomina. I'll let you decide. I again took a close-up of its name, because I'm not sure, and again it is just a bulk carrier. Akeomina, I don't know how you would pronounce it, but however you do, this is the ship. Right, I was trying to take some pictures because the fences get in the way. I thought, well, why not include the fences in the picture? So this was my idea of including the fences and looking down the river. So the town bridge is behind me, and I'm looking down towards where the river meets the sea. So and then I tried it on this angle as well. There's a lot of seaweed, as you can see at the edge there, and then I tried it without the fence by sort of zooming in, and I couldn't decide, and I've put them all in here, so I'm not really sure. I did pretty much like them. I didn't think any of them were bad. So there, this is me zooming in, and again, all fine. Now this wooden stand thing with the you know, whatever it is, with the ladder in the facing you, so it's like so this basically I was trying to think what you call it. So yeah, this, I'm really not sure what it is. Now I've tried to think about it, and I thought maybe it's like something to do with when it's a big ship, so that I don't know, and then I thought, well, surely they wouldn't tie anything to this. There's big steel, like, boldy things. So I'm not sure what it is, but if anyone does know, please let us know. I really hope that you enjoyed watching them. Yeah, you do watch the photographs, look at the photographs. Yeah, anyway. And let me know if you've got any favourites, what you think, etc. Just put them in the comments below. Thank you again for watching. If you unsubscribed and you like what you see, please do subscribe, and I shall catch you next time. Bye bye now.